everyone, it's Steph and welcome back to the Lucy Bird YouTube channel. If you love the videos, I want you to subscribe because I've got a really fun couple of months planned here at the Lucy Bird. I don't know about you, but the change of seasons always puts me in a crafty mood. So it's usually when I take a break from some of my quilting projects and I just do some fun crafty things. I'm all over the board with what I like to craft with. Recently, it's been some fun felt projects. So today I'm going to show you how I decorated my craft room. So I'm down in the basement. This is my craft room, and I love to decorate the shelves seasonally. And if you've noticed, or maybe it's just me, I love it. I've loved some of the funky, non-traditional colors for Halloween. So while I still do love the black and orange and cream, I've loved what people have been doing with the pops of color, like purple and pink, and even some of the pastel stuff. So that is something I've been in love with lately. So that's how I decorated my craft room. And I don't know how long this trend will last. I don't really care about trends. I care about what I love. So I'm not sure how long I'll love this. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on it. So enter my Cricut machine. This thing is so much fun to craft with. I have the Cricut Maker, and I'm going to be doing a lot of tutorials on how I've been using this to redo my craft space for relatively on the cheap. So I've been using just some fun things like felt, foam. I've got some vinyl projects I've done up there. I did some fabric crafting. I cut glittered cardstock, all of it. So come back each week. I'm going to be showing you how you can recreate this look at home and maybe how you can do some fun things for your Halloween and fall decorating. To make this project, you're going to need a few common crafting supplies. You are going to need 3 blanks of your choice in whatever size that you want. We can manipulate the size of our letters in Cricut Design Space later. You're going to need some paper. This is not even cardstock. This is just some inexpensive lightweight paper from the crafting section at Hobby Lobby. Felt in whatever colors you like. I have some felt that is just regular felt, and then the bats are actually adhesive backed felt. You're going to need Cricut cutting mats. I have both the fabric grip and the light grip. Both have worked well for me. I have a little painter's tape just in case I want to tack some of the felt down when I'm cutting it. Sometimes that's helpful. A paper trimmer, your Cricut Maker with a rotary blade. So for the way I do this, you do need the Cricut Maker because it supports the rotary blade, and I have found that makes the cleanest cut on felt. And then you need Cricut Design Space. So I use mine on my laptop. I know a lot of people use it on their iPad or however you like to use Cricut Design Space. I'm going to be showing you how I do it from my laptop. Okay, I am in Cricut Design Space right now. So I'm going to get started on a new project. So I'm just going to click New Project over here. And what I love about these boo letters is this is perfect for a beginner because there's not a lot of intricate things that need to happen here in Design Space. So I'm just going to start with the text tool over here. That brings up a text box down here, and I'm going to type out the letters that I want. I'm just going to say something simple like boo. And when you type that, you can see it just defaults to a size and a font that Cricut chose for you. So Cricut chose Cricut Sans. If you hit this drop down box, you're going to see all of the fonts. Of course, the first ones presented to you are the ones you need to pay for. If you want to, eliminate some options, and I can tell you that choosing a font can send you into crafting paralysis. Don't do that. Make this simple for yourself. I just go choose system up here, and that just shows the fonts that are available to me that are either automatically on my system or ones I have purchased. So I have a font I love. I think I purchased it from, I don't know, So Fancy or someplace like that. It's called Monsieur. I must have typed that wrong. There it is. You can just start typing it and hit return. It'll start generating it. And here it has changed all 3 letters to that font. So now the next thing is just to choose the perfect size for these letters, keeping in mind my limitation is that my felt is 8.5 by 11, and I did measure the background of my blank, and that is 8.5 by 17. So to help me with the size, I'm just going to make a rectangle, which is the size of my blank, so I can overlay this on just to see how the size might look for it. So I chose a square from the shapes, and if you want to make it a rectangle, you just hit this unlock button, and now you can resize it to anything you want. And so I'm just going to quickly go up here and put in the dimensions of my blank. And my blanks I'm using actually were just some cheapo things from Hobby Lobby that said something like, "You make a great playmate." They were in the clearance aisle for $4 each, and so I didn't care what they said. I just am covering them with some paper. I'm just going to change the color of this so that I can see it on top of here. And over here, I'm just going to move that layer up so it's on top. And now with these letters grouped together, I can start expanding them I'm using that rectangle just as a way of knowing what size to make these. Ultimately, I'm going to delete that rectangle. I'm not going to cut it, but I want to know what size these are. Keep in mind that even though the Cricut mat is 12 by 12, it does limit you to cutting 11.5 by 11.5. So it does want a little margin to work with. And so I'm going to ungroup these just quickly to see how big my letters are. 8 by 12, that might actually, Cricut might not like that. And you can see by choosing make it, and I think it's going to tell me it doesn't fit my mat. Oh, I guess it fits this larger one, but I'm working with a 12 by 12 mat, so I'm going to cancel that. Go back. I'm going to just resize these a little bit smaller. I'm going to hit make it again. This is great. This will work perfectly. Now it's on a 12 by 12 mat, and I can also see that my piece of felt, which is 11.5 by 12, is going to fit on here. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to delete that. Don't want to cut my background piece. And I might just, for double checking, I might just make that a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to hit make it. You can see Cricut just separates these onto separate mats. I know that this is going to fit the material I'm working with, so I hit continue. Now my computer is just connecting to my Cricut machine via Bluetooth. Sometimes it just takes a minute to load. So while that's doing that, I'm going to get some felt onto my cutting mats. So now Cricut has brought up all of the materials that it can cut, and I'm using the Maker, like I said, because it's the only machine that supports the rotary blade. But you can see it can cut so many different materials: fabric, cardstock, gauze, jute. I mean, you name it, it can cut it. But I am cutting felt, and I have it saved as one of my favorite base materials to work with. So I click it. And one thing I'm going to quickly point out is you could make this on a Cricut Explorer because you can cut felt with a blade. I found that the rotary blade is my favorite way to cut it, but default it chooses the other blade. You do have to select rotary blade. So now it's ready to go. I'm just going to load my material and hit go. Okay, so I'm just going to prepare my mat. For this project, I am using the light grip mat. You don't want to use anything too sticky or tacky because your felt is just going to end up sticking to that. You can see from this fabric grip one, I have used this over and over again. It's not that tacky anymore. I'm going to show you how to clean that up so you can use it again. But I'm just going to layer my piece of felt, not layer, lay it, down on my mat. And I'm going to load it in. Make sure I have plenty of clearance back here. And from here, I'm going to, it already knows I hit make it. I'm just gonna hit the Cricut machine. It's gonna cut the first letter. Now, if you have multiple mats, now's a nice time to get your next piece ready while that one's cutting. So I'll grab my second piece of felt. And like I told you, I've used this one well over a year, and you can see it's got a lot of the fuzzy left behind on it. So if you have that, you can clean it up. You can clean your Cricut mat with warm water and some Dawn dish soap, which I do from time to time. But a trick I use when I've lost some of the tack on my mat is just to use some painter's tape. And I just kind of tack down at the top and the bottom. So that one's done already. Here's our B. That was a perfect cut. That rotary blade is so smooth. And I'll tell you from my experience, and I use mine quite a bit, I haven't replaced this in probably a year. So that rotary blade is pretty tough. I know I was a little hesitant when I got this, thinking that I'd be replacing that blade all the time, but you really don't. So now I'm just going to load my next one in. Cricut already knows, it's put them in order, so Cricut knows that it's ready to cut the O. Okay, so I have all of my letters cut, and I'm going to quickly show how you can assemble these. So I am just using a glue tape runner. And like I said, I'm just using some lightweight paper. Now you would trim this to the size of your boards. Mine were pretty easy. I didn't have to trim much because they were already 8.5 wide. And so I just used 2 pieces of paper on mine, put some glue on it, tack it down. You could Mod Podge this too if you wanted, but I'm going to use these blanks again at Christmas time, and so I just wanted something easy I could pull off. And then to secure your B down, just use some, you could use some tacky glue, you could use a glue runner too. You know, this isn't heavy duty stuff. You can just tack it down lightly. And then I cut a couple of extra bats on my Cricut machine using some adhesive backed felt, and then I just laid them down, or just tacked them down right on top of it. So you can see that's a little sticky there too. So now you have a quick and fun project. You can change it out with different letters. You could change it out for the season. These, you know, you can see I could easily pull that off and restart again with a new project. So hope you had fun with this. Come back next week. I have so many fun projects planned to get you ready for Halloween.